Jackie Beltrao. Jackie, first of all, is Rafa okay?
Yeah, he's absolutely fine. He stood up at the end and announced in English that it was just a cramp, as you suggested earlier on, a really bad cramp. But the pictures, as I'm sure you've already seen on Sky Sports News this evening, were very, very dramatic indeed, and we all kind of feared the worst. He'd finished his press conference in English. The English journalist had left, and he was continuing to answer in one of the Spanish journalists told me. His leg was sort of shaking a little bit before he actually collapsed in total pain and sort of slid to the floor, and he was clutching his left leg, and he told us afterwards it was a really bad cramp. It was in the front and the back of his thigh, so sort of double cramp, if you like. And I think he was slightly embarrassed because he said it's happened to him before quite a few times, but always in the locker room, and this time it was in front of everybody, and the whole room was evacuated while he was treated by the doctors here. But he's absolutely fine now. He stood up, he said, you know, I'm absolutely fine, this has happened before, and it was just a moment, it was a momentary thing. So he stood up. Everybody was allowed back into the press conference. I went over to his mum and said, you know, is he okay? Because his mum and his sister and his girlfriend came running down the corridor when they found out that he'd collapsed, and were trying to get in to see if he was okay. And they looked pretty relieved when they came straight back out again. Yeah, he's fine. It's nothing. He's able to carry on. And it's not been, you know, a great summer for Rafa. And he did look pretty good in his match earlier on against David Nalbandian, but He probably suffering a little bit from the heat out here today. It was an intense match. It was 3 hours, and he's an extremely fit guy. I mean, probably the fittest guy on the tour. He just seems to run and run and run, and I guess when something like that happens to his body, it takes him slightly by surprise. He walked off down the corridor back to the locker room afterwards, and a bit, perhaps gingerly, a bit slowly, but he was absolutely...
And we'll keep you right up to date with that.
And if you missed them, here's another chance to see those extraordinary scenes from Flushing Meadows. Rafa Nadal sliding under his desk, blaming it on cramp during his news conference. Up and about, thankfully, and we're told he's okay. He says it was because of cramp. Seems like a very severe cramp, but thankfully Rafa Nadal okay. And we'll head live to New York for more from our reporter who was there very shortly.